Hi guys, how you doing? So today we're going to be doing a build in the Fractal Design Nano S. It's a m-ITX case. It's one which I've never used before. To be honest, I haven't even opened up the box yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to unbox it. I'll tell you what my initial thoughts are. We're then going to do a build which is going to be the Ryzen 5 3600 and the MSI 5600 XT. We're going to do some general testing, do some benchmarks, do some thermals, and then I'll tell you what I think about the case. We better crack on, come on. Got a user guide. I don't think we need that, to be fair. And this is the case. There's a side view. The rear, the back, and then the front. So let me take the panels off and we'll have a quick look. Okay, so it came off quite easily. Nice thick panel there, and this is basically what will be on the reverse as well. Inside we've got a 120, a 140, and then we've got our accessories pack. Got a couple of trays down the bottom, our usual cables. Yeah, that's quite good. Yeah, that's essentially the same panel as the front. Right, so first impression, you've got a couple of SSDs. You can put a 3.5-inch drive, which I'm going to be doing with this build. Plenty of room here for cable management if you need it. Obviously you will need it. Yeah, that looks pretty decent, to be honest. Got the cover underneath. It's got some sound dampening material there. Yeah, that's decent. And then the usual dust cover. All very nice. And then what we'll do, as I'll just show you there, if we'll get into focus, we've got two USB ports. We've got our on-off button, we've got our restart, mic, and headphones. It's definitely very light when the panels are off, as you'd expect. And obviously this top lid we can pop off. He says. There's some clips on the inside. That's just a plastic top. Yep. Cool. Right. So that's the case. It's pretty much as I expected. If I'm perfectly honest, it's a really small unit actually. I think it's even probably smaller than the NZXT H210. I've built in that before. So this does look a little bit smaller. So yes, I'm excited. We're going to do a build. So I'm going to crack on with it. Hi guys, well that's the build completed, and to be honest I'm so pleased with how it's turned out. It's got a really nice aesthetic, the black, the silver, it just looks really nice. It's a shame, to be honest, that it's going to be in a closed case. Now if they did a TG version instead of Perspex, that would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, it is what it is, and that's kind of like fine. So if I talk about a couple of the issues that I found with the power supply, I tried to use an ATX PSU in there, but it was right up against here, and I'll show you some footage on screen. So I went for this. This was the plan in the first place, but I had an issue with cables. Now the cables for this weren't quite long enough. It was all right for the CPU, but when it came to the 24 pin, it was basically a straight up job, and that just wouldn't work. So I had to get some extensions. In the interim, I tried the full size ATX, and it just didn't work. But you know, you have plenty of room here for it to breathe, and yeah, and obviously with the length, you can just fit so much in here. It's really, really nice. So the cable management is really good as well. There's plenty of room. When you're putting in the cooler, definitely make sure you put all your headers in, because otherwise you're going to have a little issue. Because unless you've got really tiny hands, then that's going to be a bit of a problem. So just as long as you plan ahead, that's fine. Obviously the cables here aren't covered up by a shroud like you normally get, but you know, I think I've done a fairly decent job. And then if you really want to, you can do a better job than I've done. And you can even probably put a little custom shroud in there if you really were that bothered by it. But yeah, it's really nice. So if we just turn the case around, and I'll pop the panel off. Okay, so my experience of the rear of the case was really good. Cable management is really, really nice. Got plenty of room. Got the hard drive, extensions, not an issue at all. Put a hub in there because even though there were 3 fan headers, it needed a little bit more, because you've got 3 fans, plus then you've got the AIO. And yeah, you just need either a splitter or extensions. I went for the hub because it was just easier. I wasn't going to mess around. But yeah, like I said, plenty of room for everything. If you want to put SSDs in, you can do that in there. This grommet isn't fantastic, if I'm honest. You know, obviously because of the lack of a PSU shrouds, and you need obviously access to the back for cable routing. It's a large one. It doesn't stay in there massively well. It did pop out a couple of times for me, but you get it in there. As long as you're careful when you're passing, especially like the 24 pin, then you should be fine. So I've done some testing, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to share those figures with you. So roll the VT. Guys, if you made it this far, well done. Thank you very much. I'm just going to give you a little bit of feedback on the case. I could quite easily just say, yeah, I recommend it, it's fantastic, go buy it. However, I think it needs to be a little bit more detailed than that. Now, there are a few areas I'm going to touch, and we're going to start now. Firstly is cost. Now, that gets a 5-star rating from me. It only cost me £53. You may have to pay slightly more, and to be honest, even if you pay £70 for the case, I think that would prove to be excellent value for money. The materials they've used are very good, and what you expect from Fractal, so well done, guys. Build quality, I give that a 4-star. Now, I would give it 5 stars if I was probably reviewing this case, say 3 or 4 years ago when it came out. Fractal have done such an excellent job with the Define 7 range, and I've done videos, so check those out, that it's kind of not good enough now. The materials and all of that and the design are really nice, but they're kind of like 2017, 2018, and we're 2020 now. So it's very good, but maybe they could do better. Design. To be honest, I'm only going to give it a 3.5 stars. Now that's because there's only 2 versions of the case. The flat panel which I've got, which I really like and I'm happy with that, and a Perspex. Now I don't think anyone buys Perspex panel cases anymore. We want tempered glass. So if they brought out a Define 7 Nano S, oh my goodness, that would be absolutely amazing. But just really for those reasons, I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. GPU support, I'm going to give it 4 stars. Now, it does take cards up to 350mm, which is fantastic. However, you are limited to 2 PCI slots. Now, obviously, it's a mini ITX case, so if you're kind of going for a triple slot GPU, you probably need to rethink your kind of choice of case, to be honest. CPU cooler support is fantastic with this case. So if you've got an AIO, you can get a 240mm in the roof and a 280 in the front. Now, obviously, that's plenty for most kind of builds. And obviously, you know, mini ITX, amazing. If you're going for a tower cooler, then you can go up to 162mm, and I think that's going to be plenty for most people. And lastly, cable management. Now, whilst it was good and there was plenty of it, you know, it was ample, to be honest. The thing that let it down was the SFX power supply. Now, it does support SFX and ATX. It's not really for ATX, if I'm honest. And with the SFX, you need to get cable extensions. As I kind of alluded to earlier on, the 24 pin is just not long enough. You know, if you have a different power supply, then the cables may be longer. I don't know. But just for my kind of particular use case today, it just wasn't good enough. So that's a 3.5 star. So would I recommend the case? Yes, I absolutely love it. It's got so much potential. It's small, compact, but it's not too small that you're very limited. You've got so much you can do with it. And yeah, if only they had a tempered glass version, I mean, I think that would be the perfect ITX case for me. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.